What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we are seeing the return of Steelix with a moveset that you might not think it would run, and that is going to be with Crunch and Psychic Fangs. Steelix has access to very good charge moves, Breaking Swipe, which got nerfed already, Earthquake, Crunch, and Psychic Fangs, and Heavy Slam, I believe, as well. And this is going to be a battle submission from Felros, who does hit Expert with this team, Jellicent, Carbink, and Steelix. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Jellicent. Mirror fight, as we, and for anyone wondering, there is no stat difference or anything between the different Jellicents here in terms of, oh, is the pink one better than the blue one? There's no difference whatsoever. Everything's exactly the same. So Surf does get shielded right there. That's already a huge advantage here for Zaire. The question is, will the opponent try to mirror that same bait? Yes, they do. So Zaire very far ahead now in terms of energy and shield advantage. And we do see a counter swap into Lickitung here, catching the resisted Shadow Ball. That is a huge catch by the opponent. And Steelix is going to go ahead and come in. Now, Psychic Fangs and Crunch is a completely different moveset than what you might be used to in terms of Steelix being top meta last season. But Psychic Fangs really starts to add up in terms of defensive drops right there, which allows Breaking Swipe to do more damage. And then obviously Crunch is a good coverage move for this meta, as there's a lot of Jellicents out there. So with this moveset, you can kind of have coverage to both Poliwrath and Jellicent, which are very common. You already have Dragon Tail for the dragons, Steel for a lot of resistances. It's a very solid moveset here. So they're going to go ahead and look to shield, maintain switch advantage, and then look to farm down, hopefully able to get to a Crunch as well, but the opponent might just throw a Surf. Yeah, they do throw a Surf just in time. Unfortunately, not able to get to the Crunch there, as Surf will KO. They're going to go ahead and come back in with their own Jellicent, but now energy is about even. They actually might be behind, but they're going to go ahead and let this go, as it is going to be another Surf. Actually, they were even on energy right now. We do see another swap out. Oh man, the opponent is timing these perfectly, as the Shadow Ball will land against the Steelix. They have to swap out into Carbink, and this is now a tough situation. Does the Steelix, because if it's Psychic Fangs and Crunch as well, it is going to be Psychic Fangs on the opponent's side. This is going to be a very interesting endgame, as Steelix is just extremely bulky compared to the Carbink because of resisting all that damage, but Psychic Fangs will start to add up as a Moonblast. Actually, no, the Moonblast did enough there where Carbink, this little Carbink, is going to be able to farm down, as the Psychic Fangs are not going to stop coming through, but ultimately Carbink is so bulky that it doesn't matter. Jellicent as well in the back is out of energy, as it did throw the... Actually, no, it has a little bit because it swapped on the charge move, but we will see it swap back in. Yeah, it does have a Surf ready to go. They're going to be forced to shield right here, and they're going to have to catch another Surf on their own Jellicent. So Zaire has an opportunity to basically get payback here against the opponent who's already caught 2 Shadow Balls. He's going to have to catch a Surf, and I believe it's 3 hexes. So 1, 2, here's the next one, 3. No, the opponent held it. No, the opponent held the energy. Carbink, though, is it going to be able to survive the Surf? Rock throw might just be enough damage. Surf comes through. No, Carbink goes down. Very close game right there. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Jellicent versus Shadow Dragonite here on the lead. Obviously, backline very strong here, so we're probably going to see that Steelix swap in right away, get ahead on energy, and we do see a Lickitung come in. Now, this is a great opportunity for them to take switch advantage, and you really want to do this when you have such a good matchup in terms of Carbink versus the Dragonite. You want to take that hard switch advantage. Odds are there could be something like Poliwrath or maybe Jellicent paired with this team. It could be anything, to be honest, but Steelix right here has a good opportunity to throw this Crunch and then maybe commit to that farm down with Dragon Tail. We'll have to see if they go for it, as the opponent is probably going to throw one more Power Whip. I actually didn't read, I was looking at you guys, I didn't read what charge move they threw, but they're going to go ahead and no shield. It is going to be the Power Whip, which Steelix can survive, and then farm down. This is perfect right here. If Jellicent comes in, they have Crunch. If Dragonite comes in, They can probably just go for Crunch as well, just to try to get as much damage as possible. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for Crunch. The opponent's going to swap out anyways when you do take this switch advantage, so Psychic Fangs wouldn't really do much for you. That damage, though, from Crunch is huge. Good job there. As Carbink now is going to go ahead and come in. It is Jellicent in the back, as predicted. So it's going to take a combination of Carbink and Jellicent here in order to win this game, because Zair is down shields, right? Can't necessarily come in to the mirror match because he would just get taken out with Shadow Balls. So he needs to do as much damage as possible with Rock Throw and Rock Slide, try to get this into even shields, and hopefully swap in with his own Jellicent, maybe on a Surf, which could be likely, but the opponent probably knows that that's going to be the play, so they might always be over farming. That way they're ahead on energy in the mirror. And Dragonite as well is so low that it's going to get taken down by Hex or a Surf. So Jellicent's in a really good position right here. They do get 2 shields, so it's going to be up to the opponent. They do catch it. Beautiful swap there. They're able to catch the Surf. Obviously wouldn't have been a Shadow Ball against the Carbink, and now this is looking to be a good game. They can easily look to farm down or attempt to farm down, and then just throw a charge move against Dragonite as they basically lose. Oh no, they just go for Surf right away. Okay, that's fine. This Surf should be enough to KO, and then Dragonite might get to a Dragon Claw in time, but there's still a Carbink. Yeah, it might get to a Dragon Claw here. There's still a Carbink in the back, which has that added Fairy typing, which will be resisting the Dragon Breaths. So that is going to be a good game. Shadow Dragonite still fighting the good fight, but Zair actually had a Surf ready to go, and that's going to be KOing right there. So good battle, very well played. Steelix obviously was clutch in the mid game. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Jellicent versus Whimsicott on the lead. Whimsicott, personal favorite of mine in this meta. It core breaks a lot of stuff. Poliwrath is going to go ahead and come in. Those two pair very well together. And this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is that Psychic Fang's coverage to Poliwraths. It's going to be very common and does quite a bit of damage. As you guys can see, Steelix could take this. If this is not Icy Wind, he's going to go ahead and let it go. It is Icy Wind, so decided to no shield there. And now it's going to be a matter of getting to that next Psychic Fangs to get... No, he doesn't get it in time. That is unfortunate. Jellicent, though, can come in and get ahead on energy. And this is a fair situation, as Jellicent still has access to neutral damage with Shadow Ball against the Whimsicott right here. So they will be able to get the farm down. They have a Shadow Ball ready to go. It's just a matter of what that third Pokemon is. It could be a lot of different things. Usually Double Water pairs well with this team, so stuff like Empoleon, Whiscash are good examples. Jellicent's another one. It's going to be a Skarmory instead. All right. So Carbink looking pretty good right here, even though Steel Wing is adding up. It is doing super effective damage. Carbink has a lot of HP and defenses to go through, and Sky Attack is going to be resisted. So they're going to go ahead and go for a Rock Slide now to just chip away some health here on the Steelix. Probably getting shields. No. Doesn't give up a shield right there. Maybe wants to save the shields for Whimsicott. So this actually could be a tough situation if Carbink cannot survive. Oh, the opponent decided not to throw if the Carbink gets farmed down. Because what you have here is going to be multiple charge moves coming through. Double Sky Attacks, maybe even a Brave Bird. Probably double Sky Attacks, I would say. And then Seed Bomb from Whimsicott. So he's going to go ahead and no shield. It was the Brave Bird. Boom! That basically takes him out, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one. That was a tough one there. I wasn't anticipating the Skarmory. Skarmory with that Steel Wing definitely can handle the Carbink now, as we've seen, because of just being the fast move pressure, right? Alright, we got Magnezone here on the lead. So definitely a tough lead, actually for Carbink as well, because of the Steel-type charge moves, as we will see a Lickitung come in. Now, Lickitung being the best answer to Steelix isn't a great situation for the opponent, because what I'm guessing Zair might try to do here is soft lose this mid game and get energy with Jellicent. But instead, okay, Zair's gonna decide to shield the Power Whip here, trying to maintain switch advantage and get this Lickitung out of there. Now the tough thing is, like I said at the beginning, the potential Mirror Shot, maybe even Flash Cannon if the opponent is feeling very boomful today. that Steel-type charge move is going to do a lot of damage to the Carbink. So they got to be very careful about how they align this. They will get switch and be low enough where they can apply some pressure here to the Magnezone without letting it get too much energy with its fast moves, right? The lower health you have, oh, we do see a Mantine come in, very interesting. So the lower health you have, the less energy they can farm down, which means they don't get to their charge move as quickly when you come in with a different Pokemon, right? So that's what you want to try to aim for, unless you want to have that mid-game Pokemon like the Steelix, for example, have a lot of health. Now the opponent swaps out into Magnezone, and this is the tough situation where he is now core broken with down shields as well. So this Magnezone could absolutely go through this team, and maybe he's got to catch a Wild Charge here. Let's see if he does it. He's going to go ahead and look to... He's going to no shield. Calling the bait. It was a bait, so that is going to be the mirror shot. That's a huge call by Zaire, basically forcing the opponent to throw a bait here, as they will get the first shield, and now he has an opportunity, because this could be back-to-back Wild Charge. Is it going to be another bait? It is going to be another mirror shot. Wow, okay, so the opponent really wanting to not commit to the Wild Charge, because, again, Magnezone in the Great League is so glassy. He does get 2 shields as well. Zaire is in a beautiful position. The opponent swaps out, though, into the Mantine to catch the Surf, and now it's going to be up to Carbink to close this game off. I think it can do it here with 1 Moonblast, as they should be able to farm down. Only move they really got to look out for is, well, nothing. Ice Beam, not going to do that much damage. They got to watch out for mirror shots, basically, again, from the Magnezone. But 1 Moonblast should be enough to KO the Magnezone here, as it's very glassy. I know it's a 3rd evolution Pokemon, as yeah, those mirror shots really start to add up. It's a 3rd evolution Pokemon, but in the Great League, sometimes those 3rd evolutions don't get as many stats as you would think compared to its previous evolution. So the Moonblast now probably going to be enough resisted damage here to KO. Boom, down it goes, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one, we have Jellicent versus Empoleon on the lead. So Jellicent has the advantage because of the fast move here, doing neutral damage, and the Shadow Ball as well hits a lot harder than a Drill Peck would. So he's anticipating his opponent potentially swapping out, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as he goes ahead and sends the Shadow Ball there. Now the Empoleon lets it go, maybe thinking it was a bait here. Now obviously getting Empoleon out of the lead, or even just this low, is going to be very beneficial for Zaire's backline, as they will be able to get the full farm down, and the backline is cheering. Carbink and Steelix are like, thank you for getting rid of that Empoleon, because had that thing stayed alive with a lot of health, things could have been dicey here in the end game, as we will see a swap out into Steelix, keeping the Jellicent alive. Steelix has access to that crunch, super effective damage against the Ghosts, giving up the first shield of this game on Zaire's side, stopping the Dark Pulse, and then it's going to be a matter of what Pokemon number 3 is. With an Empoleon on the lead, that added Steel typing helps do well against Fairies, so maybe it might be a Dragon in the back, and maybe that's why they're staying in with a Cofagrigus, trying to get the Steelix as low as possible, because if it's something like Shadow Dragonite or Shadow Dragonair, no, I was completely wrong, it was a Ninjask. What? Okay, this is spicy. Ninjask coming in, what the heck? Alright, I haven't seen this thing used in Go Battle League before, but here we are, 2024, and it's making its first appearance. The Psychic Fangs gets the final shield. I don't even know what you do here. You just let it do its thing. Can it even KO the Steelix? What move does it have? Aerial Ace. No, it can't KO. Carbink's going to go ahead and come in and fast move it down and say go back to the Pokemon storage, as the opponent will decide to surrender. So good game. Right, moving into the next one, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Shadow Dragonite once again. So that's Steelix, likely going to be coming out onto the field right away. And a Lickitung, no, a Vigoroth. So this is a different matchup where Steelix can still do well. Now, before Steelix did well because of Breaking Swipe, right? It was used to be 100% chance to lower your opponent's attack, which made you bulkier. In this case, it's 100% chance with Psychic Fangs to lower your opponent's defense. So same, but different. As Vigoroth looking to go for another charge move here, and Steelix could take this if the Vigoroth decides not to shield. And that's because of how much damage the Psychic Fangs now can do, paired with the fast move of Dragon Tail. A very hard-hitting Dragon fast move as the opponent does decide to shield, so they do want to take switch. But Steelix, even though, yes, Vigoroth, he might give up. No, he's going to go ahead and let this go. I think he might come in with No, he's going to go ahead and look to go for switch, throwing the Psychic Fangs right away to get the final shield from the opponent. If he takes switch, then he has guaranteed matchup. He does. Carbink versus... Oh no, there's a Jellicent in the back. That's the tough thing though. You go for hard switch and ultimately you might just lose the game because of it, because Jellicent has the ability to core break this team in the no shield situation. Shadow Ball and Surf. This is a bad position to be in. He's going to go ahead and overload on energy, look to go for the Surf bait, and then hope to win CMP tie here against the opponent. Now if he gets the shield... No, the opponent swapped into Dragonite. He's got to swap out, saving the Shadow Ball. That's going to be very important here, as Dragonite's going to look to go for Superpower to do as much neutral damage as possible, as it will. Doesn't do that much, though. And then now it's going to be up to Carbink to try to win this game. The only way they can win is if they get a shield from the opponent, and two things have to happen. The opponent has to either not have enough energy for a Shadow Ball, or if they do, then Zair has to win CMP tie, and you do that with the IVs when you're in the mirror match. So let's see. Zair looking to go for another Rock Slide. The opponent has the Bubble as the fast move. They're forced to throw here, so they might just have the Shadow Ball. Let's see. Surf KOs. Go for the Shadow Ball. No, they win CMP tie. Zair is able to take it, so a huge turn of events as he was able to store that Shadow Ball, keeping himself just barely alive in order to win that game. Good battle. Alright, moving to the next one. Jellicent versus Skeledirge on the lead. Skeledirge, a new meta Pokemon, as we do see a Poliwrath come in. And this is, Jellicent is living the high life right now. When you core break a team as hard as this, things are looking good. So Zair's definitely going to put some shields into the Jellicent here. Make sure he keeps it alive. Now, Poliwrath doesn't have anything that can threaten it right away. But what will happen is multiple Scalds are going to start adding up. So the next one, I imagine he will shield if Poliwrath decides to, yeah, this is one you're going to have to shield, as we will see Zair keep Jellicent alive. Now, the Carbink in the back can still do... Actually, this whole team can do pretty well against the Skeledirge because of the moveset, right? Crunch on Steelix, Rock Throw, and Rock Slide. Boom! Down goes Poliwrath. Maintains ones, the shield scenario, the ones, and maintains switch. And we see a Chesnaught in the back. Jellicent is definitely living its best life, as it's going to be able to core break this whole team with Shadow Ball and Hex. As we will see the Chesnaught no shield right there, looking to go for the farm down, and little does the opponent know that there is a Carbink and a Steelix waiting in the back for that Skeledirge, which is unfortunately just going to get destroyed. They do get the farm down though, Chesnaught does. Steelix is going to go ahead and come in. We do see the Carbink now into Skeledirge, and this is where they decide to surrender, so that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving to the next one. Jellicent here versus Galarian Weezing. Now this is going to come down to the moveset that Weezing could be running. Brutal Swing as a charge move could be very effective against ghost types, but it can also have Play Rough and Overheat, all of which the backline needs to watch out for. So Brutal Swing is going to be the moveset, which Jellicent now is in a very dangerous position, and he's going to have to go into the Steelix here to try to catch it. But the tough thing is, this Weezing could also have... They're going to go ahead and swap. It could have Overheat, but they swap into Poliwrath instead, which is perfect, as the Psychic Fangs now going to be applying those debuffs. But this Poliwrath could easily take this into the 2-to-1 shielding scenario and farm down the Poliwrath as the first, or farm down the Steelix, I should say, And Steelix says no. I want to take this into the ones as they do stop the Scald. Another Psychic Fangs coming through, and this is where Steelix can become dominant even against fighting type Pokemon like a Poliwrath because of the debuffs. Look at these Dragon Tails starting to add up. The opponent has to throw energy, and this saves Jellicent here on the back end because Poliwrath might not be able to get to a charge move in time as Icy Wind will KO. Jellicent comes in. Hex doing the damage that it needs in order to fully farm down. That is perfect. We're in the one shields now. We will see the Weezing come back in, but unfortunately not able to get the Surf. It did a fast move instead. Zare, I can feel the annoyance in the game right now because he definitely had enough energy. I think he really wanted, you can see it from his swipes, he wanted that Surf. We do get the KO. Final Pokemon is going to be an Ampharos. So this is something that Carbink's bulk is going to be coming through clutch as they go ahead and shield. It is going to be Shadow Ampharos. I imagine they survive any charge move, even if it is Focus Blast or Zap Cannon. Let's see here. Trailblaze. Okay, Trailblaze is going to add up. Let's see. Oh, no, he's going to go for another one. Okay, gets to the Moonblast in time. This should be enough neutral damage. Now, Zare obviously wanted that Surf against, boom, against the Weezing, but didn't get it, but was still able to win. So, good battle. Alright, moving into the next one. We have Jellicent versus Whimsicott once again. So a tough Pokemon for this team to deal with, but energy is your friend in those scenarios as they will swap into Steelix here. Steelix having that ground steel typing is going to take a little bit of damage from Seed Bombs, but ultimately doesn't need to worry about it this early in the game. As Seed Bomb, oh, it's going to be a Grass Knot instead. Okay, they're going to go ahead and stay in and swap into Jellicent, so they will throw the Psychic Fangs as the opponent trying to catch that charge move. And they do. Now, this is the dangerous thing for the Jellicent. This Crunch is going to do so much more damage as the debuff from Psychic. Oh, they let it go! Steelix now in a position to completely farm down Jellicent, but they're going to decide to no-shield here as the Surf is going to be coming through and does KO. Boom, down it goes. Jellicent now going to go ahead and come in, look to farm down with Hex as the opponent does get to the charge move in time. But I think this is, Zare's right, this is just going to be a Surf. As the bubble count there was not enough for Shadow Ball. But we got to remember, this Whimsicott loaded up a ton of energy. Yep, there it is. The Grass Knot now going to be coming through, as this is going to be forcing the first shield on Zare's side. But he can fire right back with Shadow Ball. And then this is the tough thing. The Whimsicott has the moveset to Core Break right here, as the Grass-type charge moves are going to be doing super effective damage against Carbink as well. So he's going to swap in anyways and has to let this go. We don't know what Pokemon number 3 is going to be, but obviously Jellicent could have a good matchup against that as they decide to stay in. So maybe this was a mistake. Maybe it's something like a Skeledirge in the back, which Jellicent could still do well against. But another Grass Knot is going to be coming through. Not enough to KO. He's got to go for the Rock Slide right away to try to get the final shield. But what could be in the back? If they decided to stay in this long with Whimsicott, it's got to be a good matchup. And it is a Skeledirge as predicted. So this is now going to come down to the baits. As Shadow Ball is going to go ahead, or not, sorry, Surf is going to come through. No shield by the Skeledirge, and Jellicent still in a good position as the opponent decides to surrender. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving to the next one. Jellicent versus Skarmory. Okay, Steel Wing Skarmory, easy enough to handle here with the Jellicent, as we do see a swap out into Shadow Dragonair. So Steelix is going to go ahead and show them who's the boss as Body Slam. Actually, this is going to be Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail can actually do a good amount of super effective damage, as Steelix can easily get the full farm down here. Gonna be close. Oh, the Dragonair gets to it in time. Is going to be forced to shield. But on this back end here, again, Skarmory, with this much health on Steelix, we're probably going to see 2, maybe 3 crunches come through. So, the Steelix, yep, yeah, this is going to be brutal here for Skarmory. Skarmory's Steel Wing, even if it was Air Slash, it's all resisted damage. He's going to go ahead and go for the Psychic Fangs now. This is the time when a Skarmory would shield another crunch. And no shields it, unfortunately. But applying that debuff is pretty nice as they go ahead and go for crunch here, because they're not only going to be forcing a shield here, unless the opponent just says, you know what, I'm just letting the Skarmory go down. That looks to be the play. They're not going to be able to commit to the farm down. Steelix is going to be able to get to the Psychic Fangs, but Skarmory is forced to throw now. And it's all going to come down to what Pokemon number 3 is going to be. Could be something like a Whiscash. No, it's going to be Shadow Dragonite. So the Carbink is going to come in right away, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Instant surrender. There's no win con there for the opponent. I think that was the final one. Was that the final one? That was. Huge congrats, Zaire, as he gets to expert here with this team. Beautiful sets right there, and it goes to show just how strong. I think obviously Jellicent and Carbink did very well as a core. We saw some situations where things got a bit dicey, especially against Jellicent Mirrors when they're behind on shields, but he was able to overcome some of those by catching some charge moves and baiting correctly. But I think Steelix with the Psychic Fangs and Crunch did very well in carrying Zaire's team in the mid game. So congrats again to Zaire. Link to his channel down in the description, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.